Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Gaining Perspective with Cody Armstrong. I am your host, Cody Armstrong, and so today's topic is going to be about oil pipelines and I guess just kind of the oil industry in general. As you can see, I'm doing this as a YouTube podcast, correlation, and I talked about doing it for a while now. Unfortunately, I don't really have a lot of stuff set up exactly how I want it right now. As you can see, I'm holding a microphone. I'd prefer a microphone stand. That makes things a little bit easier. And also, I'm just kind of positioning my camera on a desk, and it's not on a tripod or anything, so it might look a little iffy. But regardless of that, we're going to hop into it. And, touch on last episode was racism. So that one's a very hard hit. Just kind of depends on how you're going to take it. I felt like I made some valid points, but again, I need some feedback. I need you guys to tell me what's up with how you feel about things, if you agree or disagree, anything like that. So the reason why I'm doing the pipeline, oil pipelines or just the oil industry in general, is because, obviously there's been a lot of turmoil this year and this past year, and, I've been hearing about Keystone XL for pretty much the entire run of Obama's administration in office, and I have to say, he kind of just like strayed away from it, didn't approve it, but of course, with a new administration comes, new mindset and new ideals. And the way that I think about it is that Trump is kind of, he's not kind of, but he is a businessman, and I feel like he probably does have some sort of ties to other executives in the oil industry who, kind of maybe if you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours sort of deal. And I don't know if that's true. That's just me kind of spitballing, right? But, so the biggest reason why I have an issue with the pipelines is not really like, I guess, I'm all for the protests, like the Standing Rock protests, and I'm all for, it comes down to like preserving nature, preserving people's lands. In this case, it's the Sioux tribe at Standing Rock, and how the pipeline is going to go straight through their land. And my biggest concern is how people think about, these protests, because I have a very broad mix of people on my Facebook. Some people are very hippie-esque, very liberal. Some people are very conservative. I have family members, friends, and and it just kind of comes down to the fact that a lot of people stand against the protests for whatever reason. Maybe it's just because it's a liberal thing, or maybe it's because they feel that they have, they feel what they're doing is stupid. Like, the whole notion that, oh, they're just crazy hippies, that's been around, since Woodstock, right? So you're talking about like 1960s, 1950s, and 1970s, of course. And it's never gone away. Hippies are really more today like today's vegans. And it's not, I don't know. The term hippie and whatever, like, it's more of a derogatory thing, but they kind of own up to it, and they're like, yeah, I love the planet, I love, save the earth and all that. And I'm right behind them. So when it comes down to it is, you have people who are just sitting there just basically against the protesters, maybe based on like, oh, they're stupid hippies, or they're stupid liberal hippies, whatever you want to call them. But I'm also like, you're against protesters for protesting, which I think is terrible anyway, because, you live in a country where everything can be protested, and, you can speak your mind, and I think that's phenomenal. But the other issue that I have with it is that, like, you don't gain anything from standing against these people. Like, maybe you think that, and this is me appealing to the conservative party right here. I'm just kind of trying to gain some insight on why bother? Why bother standing against these people? Because, like, I don't see what you have to gain from it, other than just like trying to shut up some liberal hippies, which I don't even see why that would be a goal of yours. But what I can say is it's very weird that people really do want to stand against hippies, and they want to stand against protest of when it comes to nature and oil pipelines, I mean, the problem with all of this is that you're not going to gain anything. You know, even if some rich oil tycoon sees you, they're not going to like reward you for being like, hey, good job on standing against those stupid hippies. They're not going to give you anything. Maybe cheaper gas prices, but in the end, like, I would prefer to see the entire automotive industry shift to full electric vehicles, which it's gaining traction. You know, with the help of Tesla, you know, spurring the innovation behind that, I would prefer to see that anyway. Doesn't mean that we will never use oil ever again. Oil is used in a lot of machinery throughout the U.S. and throughout the world, and you know, the entire automotive industry, I'm sure somebody somewhere will always need oil and need gas, and yeah, they don't want to pay the higher cost of it, but at the end, you know, you have the cost of like nature, to be honest, and a lot of people think that that's just like, I don't know, maybe global warming, just like that's a hoax, which it's not. These things are happening, you know, and honestly, I can tell you, I can pull up some interesting facts right now. So for example, the Alaskan pipeline is leaking an estimated 193,000 to 215,000 cubic feet of gas a day into Alaska's Cook Inlet, and that inlet contains endangered beluga whales. So, you know, saying that it doesn't exist or that's not going to happen anywhere else, well, I mean, it's already been happening with with North Dakota. Now, not the North Dakota pipeline, that you know, Standing Rock pipeline. It's not that. It's more to do with there is an actual leak in North Dakota for oil, and it's leaking 530,000 gallons of oil. You know, and that's from the Belle Fourche pipeline, or Fourche. And so that's in North Dakota also. And so what they're trying to do is connect these two pipelines. But as you can see, like about 530,000 gallons of oil is believed to have been spilled from that pipeline alone. And this is where people, you know, they get into arguments of like, well, it's safe, it's perfectly fine. I saw kind of a stupid meme, in my opinion, of, you know, posted by one of my conservative friends. It doesn't make them stupid, but, you know, it has to do with, you know, and this is just my opinion, it has to do with, you know, showing like before and after the pipeline. And it shows like the protest where, you know, they were ran out of the grounds by like fire trucks and all this other horrible shit. And they were like, they lit fires, they left all their trash and stuff behind. I'm like, you have to realize, like, nobody who's defending the environment is going to leave all their trash behind like that. That's just such a ridiculously cowardly view of these people. They wouldn't leave it like that. They were obviously chased out, and there were plenty of reasons, you know, and I'm not saying all the protesters are peaceful. Don't get me wrong. They were doing some stupid shit too, but when it comes down to it, is you are affecting the environment with this. You know, when you don't have full safety precautions, you know, and even then accidents can happen, and that's terrible. I don't see it as worth it. I see that it's much more worth it to invest in renewable resources that will not be utilizing, you know, oil or gas. We need to step away from that because in the end, yeah, you're going to drain it dry, and then you're done with fossil fuel. And by that time, like, you don't know what kind of detriment that's going to have on the planet. You know, you have oil spills in the ocean. You have oil spills, you know, in the actual land, and how that affects the environment, and how we, you know, as a people seem to not care, you know. But in the end, guys, obviously I have a bias toward this. You can call me a hippie, you can call me liberal, you can call me whatever you want to call me. At the end, those are just labels. I'm a humanitarian, and I really do love my planet. I love the land that I live on. I love being able to go hike somewhere without, you know, a threat of, oh, I just stepped in, like, what is that? Oh, that's oil. That's gross. And then seeing like a dead bird or like dead animals. I'm just saying that might be, you know, might be an exaggeration, but just think about that. Like, if we keep drilling and making all these oil pipelines, you have Keystone XL, you have North Dakota, you have the Alaskan pipeline, and I don't know, guys. I mean, I really feel like we need to step away from this. It's not going to help you in the end, because eventually you will run it dry. That's what's going to happen. And by that time we still may not have like a ship to blast off on when our planet just decides to say, you know what, fuck you, I'm going to have like a typhoon or like catastrophic, 2012 type shit. Anyways, yeah, I'm rambling on. That was the episode. I'm really just asking, like, do you think it's worth it to keep drilling all these pipelines? Do you, how do you feel about these environmental effects? And what do you think, is a better renewable resource? Like, do you think that's even an industry that we should be going down? What do you think? Anyways, thanks for watching, guys.